This is Laura with Trendy Puku. This is my first Instagram Live. I'm pretty excited. Yay! I'm just going to hang out for a few seconds here in case anybody wants to join us. That sounds desperate.
Will it tell us if people join?
Yeah, I think it does. I'm not sure. So, Now, whatever, we'll just get started. All right, this is Christopher Unger. He's from Redding, California.
Howdy.
Yes, and he's a glass blower and ceramic artist. Chris, tell me about your work.
Well, I'm a glass artist. I like to work really minimal forms. I prefer working in an offhand glass blowing technique, which is working with a really hot molten glass on the end of a blowpipe or a steel rod. And it's always exciting because it's always flowing, it's always exciting and moving, so keeps it interesting.
What are the other types of glass work that are possible?
Other types of glass that other people might do, there's lamp working, which is working in front of a torch at a bench, and you're holding the rods of glass and putting it in the torch and heating it up that way. And it's pretty much those two. It's offhand, working out of a furnace, or working at a torch.
Okay. Or fusing. I know
or
that one.
Or fusing, yes. There's kiln glass. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
Which is all the hot work's done inside of a kiln. And Laura's familiar with that.
Only a little bit. All right, so what inspires you?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I'm really into sort of minimal kind of aesthetics or forms. So as I'm going about daily life, I often find myself getting sucked into and fascinated with just these small little trinkets. For example, there was these little tiny like ceramic filters things that I found a while back, and they were like a really intricate like honeycomb pattern, and so I just got completely fascinated with that and had to do a larger version of it, and in clay. I forgot to mention I also work in clay a little bit, and so this piece was done with slip cast tubes that I assembled into a larger kind of honeycomb pattern, and I called it industrial artifact, sort of referencing the little tiny artifact that the purpose I couldn't tell at this point anymore. It's just aesthetically interesting.
Okay, cool. And then what do you do with your art that you create?
Well, I sell it. I show it in galleries whenever I get the chance to do that. That's kind of a rare thing right now, but in the works, hopefully. But I sell it. I use functional work I use at home. Pretty much all my bowls and cups are made by me at home, so I don't ever have to buy anything. Yeah.
Cool. Where do you do most of what's your studio?
My studio, right now I don't have my own personal hot shop to do the glass work in, and so I'm really fortunate to be working at Shasta College, where they've got a hot shop and do glass classes, so every now and then I get a chance to work out in the shop and practice my craft and skill there. At home, I do have a small little pottery studio, which I work in every now and then.
Okay. And what's your artistic background?
I started my studies here at Shasta College, actually. That was my first exposure to any sort of art discipline. And then from there, my first glass class was taken here, and I just got hooked. And so from there I transferred down to San Jose State, where I continued my studies of glass and really honed my skills. And then now I've got a job here as a tech / class assistant here at Shasta College, and I'm able to bring that knowledge from San Jose back up here and really improve stuff.
Cool. Do you have a background in anything else, or have you always focused on art?
A lot of it's been focused on art. There's a little bit of computer sort of programming, very, very basic kind of level of programming stuff. But I only did that for a few years, but once I got into the art stuff, I couldn't stop. I had to keep going.
It's addicting. That one?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your making sure I'm not going to ask him something he doesn't want to respond to. What is your favorite thing you've ever created?
So I was debating whether I even had a favorite thing earlier, but I decided lately I've been doing a technique that's called encalmo, and that's where you blow two separate colors, two separate cups, and then you join the lips of them to make a full round vessel. But you get this really clean sort of seam line between the two colors, and that's called encalmo. And I've been really enjoying making those, exploring that technique and making artwork and vessels with that, because it's a real nice, clean aesthetics, and yeah, it goes with the minimalist thing I like to do.
Awesome. Let's see. What's the best piece of advice you've been given?
That piece of advice, well, it's twofold. There's one good piece of advice I was given as an artist when I was down in San Jose, and that one was, it was my instructor, Cassandra Straubing, down at San Jose State, really encouraged us to really consider why we use the material we choose to use, or if it's mixed media, really consider why you're bringing in these other materials, just because different materials have sort of different associations and whatnot, and so for artwork, it's really important to consider that. And I really appreciated getting told that, because before that I never really thought about the material besides functionally why I use it. And another good piece of advice that's just for any artist or craftsman that I think is really good is that, and you may have heard it all the time, but always make stuff every day. Always experiment, always try to challenge yourself. If you've got a crazy idea, take it to the shop or whatever your studio space is, and just experiment, challenge yourself, and in that way just keep yourself growing and progressing as an artist or craftsman.
Yeah, I like both of those pieces of advice. They apply to like any kind of medium, so it's cool. Do you have any mentors or current favorite artist?
There's a few glass artists that I really admire. One's he's been doing it for years, an Italian, Lino Tagliapietra, and he does these really, really amazing forms with these long, drawn-out necks that like spiral, and it's really crazy. He gets this whole team of people helping him make these things. Another artist, glass artist, Nancy Callan, is a really fascinating artist, and she does a lot of really sort of simple, minimal forms, but with really intricate color kind of details within the form, and I'm just really inspired by what both of those guys do.
Cool. Where can we find you?
Like
besides right here in Reading. Like online, where's your online presence?
So I'm on Facebook. I think my page is Christopher Unger, or I might be under Automaton Glass. I'm on Instagram as Automaton Glass, and I also have a website. It's pretty much my full name, www.christophermichaelunger.com.
Awesome. And on there you have amazing pictures of most of your work that people can look at. So, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'm pretty excited to do this interview.
Yay.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
If we want to.
And then if anybody watching has any questions, please just feel free to type them in the comment section and he'll answer them for us. And then would you like to do a demonstration?
Yeah, I'd love to do a little
Alright,
demo.
so we're going to go in the hot shop. It's a little bit louder in there, so if he talks, I'll either repeat it or we'll work through it.
We will figure something out.
Yeah. So we're going to move over to the hot shop. Do-do-do. Right. Yeah. All right. Okay, where do you want to set
I'll
up?
be working on that bench, so
Right.
you probably want to kind of do it by hand.
Okay.
I don't know how you want to do it. So we're out in the hot shop now. You can see back here behind me is what's called the glory hole. That's where I reheat the glass to be able to keep working it before it gets too cold. I'm going to show you the furnace.
Yeah.
Right here is the furnace where we keep the glass molten in the crucible. And you can see it's quite toasty in there.
Yes, that is very hot. I can attest to that.
It's about 2200 degrees in there. And that's about the melting point of the glass. So this is a blow pipe. Pretty much just a hollow steel pipe that we use to blow air into the glass. And you have to preheat anything that you want to grab the glass with so that the glass sticks to it. Glass doesn't want to stick to cold metal, so. I'm just gonna do a quick little demo making an ornament. So,
All right. I'm going to get it set up here so we don't get hit by glass. I don't know how it works. There we go. Zoom in.
so now I got my initial air in there. You can see it's just a one gather bubble right here. And now I'm gonna add some color to it. So I've got these little bins of color ready for us, and it's pretty much just sticking to the glass, and each time I get some color I need to melt it in so that it's fused. So just get some more white here. some dark glue, just a layer of that, give it a little bit of a, break up the light just a little bit. The bench where most of the work happens. Got a block which is used to kind of roughly shape the glass around. You got to keep them wet so that it doesn't burn the wood too fast. Let it cool just a little bit before I get some more glass from the furnace.
So when you're blowing into the glass, are you doing a big breath of air or is it just a little puh?
It really depends on how hot the glass is at the moment. Like right just now it was a little bit cool, so I was kind of having to force it a little bit, give a bit of a stronger puff. But if it's really hot and gooey, then you want to be really delicate with your puffs of air.
Okay.
Otherwise it'll explode. Not really explode, but just blow out unintentionally.
All right.
So now it's cool enough. I'm going to get some more glass. Attach it to the mouthpiece of the blowpipe, and it lets me blow while I'm sitting down, so I can really watch what's going on when I inflate the bubble. We're going to get it hot again, and then I'll blow out that ornament.
He said he has to do the next part fast, so he'll explain it to us when he's done.
So I'm taking over here where I've got a little crap off ceramic fiber blanket to keep it from, it's heat resistant, so it won't burn when I put this ornament on it. Just chilling that little, it's called a jack line, so I'll break off, hopefully. Is live, so things can happen. And I'll get, once it breaks off, I'll go get the little handle for it. Just a little bit of glass to add on as a little loop, quick little shaping. go in the annealer. Grab it. Let's put away. So basically I just inflated a nice round bubble, did a really tight jack line so that it would break off right there, and then this material that I set it on is ceramic fiber blanket, which is really high temp, resistant to high temperatures, so it won't burn. And then I just got a little gather of glass on the end of a punchy rod. You can see the remnants of it here. Just a solid steel rod, and use that to make the little loop to hang the ornament with on. And then use the torch to fire polish it so that no sharp edges are on the ornament, and that's pretty much it. That piece then gets put into what's called an annealer, or a kiln, that stays warm until you're done working, and then it slowly cools down the glass so that any stresses or it won't crack or anything, because if the glass cools down too fast, it'll just start to break apart and crack from thermal shock, basically.
So
Do we want to do a little vase maybe, or?
yeah, whatever you want to do, we'd love to watch. It's pretty
Okay.
awesome.
Alright,
I'm
I'll
impressed.
try to
It's really
do-
cool.
I'll try to do a little vase with a color drop, little overlay, just a simple vase here, and then I think that'll be a nice, good little demo, last demo.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm holding the phone backwards, so I hope I am always on him. It's kind of hard. But here we go. Just want to remind you guys, if you have any questions for Chris, he'll answer them after this last demo.
Might be able to flip it around.
Ah, he's a genius. There we go. Yeah, I just won't look at the fire. Well, that's neat.
I'm picking out my little chunk of color from the top box. It's a color rod, basically solid color. And I've just got to get it hot and molten so I can put it over the top of that bubble I just blew.
While we're waiting for that, this is the colors that he put on the ornament in case you didn't get a good look of that earlier. So was interesting.
That's just going to keep my bubble warm.
Okay.
So it doesn't get too cold on me.
Nice.
I've got the color on the bubble, now I just need to squeeze it around the entire bubble right now, which I'm going to do on the marble. Marble is basically a steel plate that you can roll and shape the glass on.
That thing.
So here we go. Starting at the top and just working my way down the sides. That technique I just did is really the only way you can get a smooth wash of color. These other colors that I have on the marble is what's called frit, and even with the really fine frit you still get a slightly kind of mottled texture to the color. But this color drop overlay is when you can get a real just smooth wash of color with no little mottled texture in it. Which I really like. I can't get enough of overlays. So I'm just smoothing it back out again before I get some more glass from the furnace. And just giving it a little bit of air. You've always got to let it cool down a bit before you go gather some more glass, because the hot glass is going to heat up your core bubble, and if it's too warm, it's going to get hot even faster and start moving a lot on you. So just to keep things in control, you want to let each layer cool a bit before you get more glass.
Okay.
Just a gradual process, like any other medium.
Reminds me of nail polish.
Exactly, nail polish. We're going to put a varnish.
Yes, here we go.
Glass you get, the bigger blocks you need to use. So I've got one ready for me here. blow from going out to the bottom too quickly. Maybe just a little wet. Should have prepped that ahead of time.
Yikes.
When that happens, it usually means I need wax on my jacks.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just gonna give them some heat and then get some wax on them.
Oh, there's the wax.
Wax pretty much lets the blades of the jacks glide smoothly on the glass and without scratching it up. Trying to make a little narrow necked little vase here. So I just tried to pre-stretch out that neck there. Looking at this, think of this as the bottom, and that's where the top of the vase is going to be. Looking over there. solid steel rods. As I'm working along, I've got the little hook to hang stuff. It's always easier to work with someone, but you don't always have someone to help you out.
I don't think I would be very much help.
Punchy here, which we're going to stick on the bottom.
Yep, of course.
Up the lip, shaping it, whatever I want to do. So on this one, I think I'm going to do what's called a handkerchief base style. It's pretty exciting.
Can't wait to see.
Stretching out the neck a little bit at a time here. In preparation for trimming. Still pretty good.
Oh, I can't see it in there. It's lost.
Almost got closed on us, so I'm saving it. Always a constant juggle between the bench and the glory hole. leave it at that. Cancel the handkerchief. What I was going to do with the handkerchief is just get this top part really hot, which actually I'll still do. It's pretty fun to watch. So I'm going to get it hot, really hot, spin it out, and then hang it down so it wrinkles. How fast I turn it depends on how wrinkly it is. I don't know how else to say it.
That's pretty cool. Not just pretty cool, that's really cool.
So when you're done, then it's like the ornament, just has to be put away in the annealer and slowly pull down.
Oh, I want to go around on the other side so I can see inside the annealer. See inside this mysterious annealer.
We had a class earlier today, so it's got other stuff, plus some practice stuff of mine for in prep of this interview. Just chilling that punchy mark, so hopefully it'll break off as cleanly as possible, which is always a nervous part of the process.
Let's see how you did.
There you are.
Looks clean to me. And that's putting out some pretty nice heat.
Yeah, it's still really warm, even though it does not look like it right now.
And when it's all the way cool, is that the color it will be, or will it change colors?
Yeah, this looks pretty close to what this color actually will look like.
Peek inside real fast. And that blue ornament is the one you made. Oh, the one on the bottom.
I don't know,
One of them.
Those are all my other practice ones.
Practice ornaments. Cool.
So there you go.
Awesome. Well, flip you guys around. Do you have any questions? Feel free to ask. You can send me a direct message and I will get an answer from this guy. Thanks, Christopher.
Thanks for coming or joining us.
Yeah. And
Thanks for letting me show you my process.
Yeah.
Whatnot.
Oh, I did have one question. How long does it stay in the annealer, like on average?
It really depends on how thick your work is. Really thin, like cups, can be cooled in less than 24 hours, a little bit less than that, but the thicker you go, the longer your schedule will go out to weeks, even if it's really super thick, like a couple inches thick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us, guys. See you another time. We'll do this
See
again.
you around.
I don't know how to end it. Oh, there's a button.
End.